All right, and welcome back into another edition of the Chris and DJ Show. I am Chris Shanafelt. He is former Chicago Bear himself, former
Well,
Chicago Bears nickelback, number 30, number one in your hearts. DJ Moore, what's up, DJ?
ain't not much, man. Ready, man. Been excited, to get this show going. Got some exciting topics that when you sent them to me, I couldn't wait. I said I couldn't wait to talk about some of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. And again, we spoke a little bit about it last week, but you're also in the writing game as well. Starting to write some articles with your buddy Earl Bennett over at the Pro Style Podcast, prostyle.com. And last week, you guys made a lot of noise with your article about the whole Cutler and Jamarcus Webb situation. I mean, you were a trending topic here in Chicago, no doubt about that. So I want to bring that back and maybe have you explain a little bit more about what you wrote. Again, that article could be found on prostylepodcast.com, Earl Bennett's website. And again, for those who don't remember, I believe it was the first game of the season back in 2012. It was, the first year Brandon Marshall was a part of the team, and there's a lot of high expectations for the team as a whole, a couple years removed from that NFC championship appearance. And you guys are at Lambeau Field, and it was just a nasty game from start to finish, specifically from the offense. And, at one point, Cutler keeps taking hits, and he goes down, and he meets Jamarcus Webb at the sideline and gives him a little bit of shove while he's walking up to him. You could see, I mean, very disgruntled, very upset, had a few choice words to say. And again, you basically you went out and you said that you felt it was not right whether a teammate had a rough game or not. You shouldn't kind of do that, not only on national TV like the game was on Thursday Night Football, but just in general. That's just something you shouldn't do. And DJ, you being who you are, you let that be known. You didn't shy away from your comments, and in the end, that you may have paid for what you said.
Well, the thing was, and I got into it with some people on Twitter about it, because they'll defend they'll defend Cutler till they blue in the face. Because even the time that it was happening, man, I got like cats was sending you death threats and all kind of stuff. Just like when you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? If I put my hands on you, if I come into we work together, all right? If I come to your job and put my hands on you in any kind of way, there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that anywhere. And for them to say, oh well, he a big guy, like yeah, but if he would have put his hands back on him, oh my word, it would have been something different. So my situation when I went into the like the meeting room, when Lovie said really don't say anything, even when I went back, because I always talk when people ask me stuff, my problem is I tell the truth and the straight truth. It's like, okay, he asked me, I said, you know what, I think it's wrong. And I didn't think it really was a big deal. Like it's just wrong. But then when I seen it on first take, I said, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? So it probably in the end probably cost me a little bit of some pocket change, I would say. But I feel like it still was the right thing. I think Lovey agreed with what I was saying. But if Urlacher or Lance would have said a peanut, it would have been fine. I mean, he wouldn't have benched him. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I think he was probably looking for something like that to happen instead of it being me. But honestly, I mean, I set myself up for that one because I mean, I just know how he is. Like once you get on his wrong side, that's it. It ain't no, it's hard to, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to, to come back from that.
Now, are you talking about Lovey or Cutler?
Uh, Well, not Cutler. I mean, yeah. Because the coach essentially is the guy that said, "Hey, man, you gonna be on the team or you not gonna be on the team." But I think because I talked to him after that, because even when I went to Tampa, man, he seemed kind of laid back and stuff like that. So it was, I think, in that situation, it was just really not me personally. Like I don't have a beef with you, but I got a beef with, like I asked you not to do something. Like, and he was one of them cats. Like he's gonna give it to you straight. So when I left out that mean room, and I always was hard-headed, and we would go back and argue back and forth, I said, yeah, it's going to come. And once it started to come, it wasn't nothing I can do about it. Like some games I wouldn't play. If we played good teams like Green Bay, I'd be starting. Next week, I wouldn't be playing at all. Like, I mean, everybody can kind of see it. Now, for me, like, I need to play. Like, if I want to get paid, I'm averaging 4 a year, and that's with, missing a couple games or so, or playing 60% of the snaps, and cats that were getting about 4 picks a year was doing all right. You know what I mean? So, but life works in mysterious ways. You know what I mean? They had to get me to this show, so it worked out.
Do you think you ended that article with let's see, obviously what made it worse was that it was your contract year. Can't get paid if you're not playing. If I had kept my mouth shut, I would probably still be playing to this day. Do you truly believe that?
Yeah. Well, because what would have happened was I probably would have stayed. I was in a position where, like now, it's everybody needs one. Everybody has to have one. Even then, I was real good at it. I mean, and you don't get worse; you just get smarter at playing the position. So it's a lot of cats that playing now. I mean, I can still run and jump and do things. But in the NFL, I mean, it's not for long. And you never know what it may be. It may be you go to a certain team or do a certain play or say a certain thing or do a certain thing. And then you'll go from being liked to not liked. It's like Antonio Brown. Like, everybody liked him, and then all of a sudden, everybody thought he was an asshole. It's like, what? Everybody said he worked hard. Now nobody likes him. So it can flip on you really fast. And if you're not careful, and for me, just growing up and seeing like, oh yeah, to look back on it's like, even though you probably was right about what you said, you probably could have shut up. But you learn, you live, move on, man.
So after your time here in Chicago, you spent some time with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, it was a homecoming for you, so I gotta think that was pretty cool. But talk about the reunion. Talk about the reunion with Lovie Smith, though. I mean, me personally, that was something I didn't really expect. I thought that maybe that, the way that your time in Chicago ended, I thought maybe that kind of ended your guys' relationship. Obviously, that wasn't the case. You didn't spend a lot of time in Tampa Bay, but you did, sign with another Lovie Smith coach team.
Well, he a little bit different. When I first got there, he was real open, and so he come up and talk to you. It wasn't something he normally did like in Chicago. Now, me being a nickelback, I spent a lot of time with him. That's when I was talking about when his wife came up to me, like, I'm sorry, for how they doing you. Like, because I was like a complimentary son. I never really had a dad, and like I'm in the office with him all the time. So the stuff that I knew about football, like, I gotta give the credit to him because he made me learn the defense to a point where I could actually coach it at some point. So when I got down there, it was kind of laid back, man. I got hurt, and I played basketball a lot. So I didn't run or really work out. Like, the way I stayed in shape was I would play basketball. I would go to the Y. And when I got hurt, I went over to USF and played with their basketball team. And did something real simple, kind of like Kevin Durant, just jumping around a little bit, just barely moving, and pulled my calf. So I couldn't go through the mini camp. So in the mini camp, the guy that I was helping coach it was a young cat. He was doing pretty good. Now, I didn't expect him to cut me because I'm like, I can play. In this particular system, I make plays. Like, when they were trying to teach a linebacker, I knew it better than everybody else did. I didn't do the mini camp, and it was right before camp. I had just got down and had a place and everything. So I just got down there. It was a day before camp, and he called me into the office and told me he was gonna let me go. But at the same time, he looked more upset than I did. Honestly. But at the same time, he was like, you know what I mean? In a couple of years, you want to coach, you let me know. I think you'll be a great coach. And I was like, well, thank you. You know what I mean? So, man, I still, appreciate it. I think I was lucky to be on the team my first year in Chicago. Even though I got drafted, you talking about an asshole? I was awful. Like, me and Hope, if somebody can write story time, Hope would write a lot of stories about me. Like, I was just too much at times. You know what I mean? And I didn't know how to take coaching or receive just about anything. So I think it worked out the way that it's supposed to work out. But even in Tampa though, he was like a lot of times when you go to a new team, a coach anyway, you bring players from old teams, like your old team. Like he was bringing them, but he was cutting them. It seemed really odd the way he was kind of treating like the players that had kind of helped along the way in a sense. So I don't know. I don't think I was the only one. I think Tim got cut too, right? They cut Tim and some other guys. So it was a group. It was.
I forgot Jennings had a stint with Tampa Bay.
So I don't know if Mays got cut, and I know Mays went down there. Chris Country, who was terrible. I love him. I think he's a really good guy. He really is. He's still playing. So that was a weird, like, fire him but keep his son as a coach. That's a whole weird situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It happened. But it's always terrifying. Like when you get called to somebody off, because you can feel it though. It's like, oh, this is it then. Like, okay, yeah. You know what I mean? And then not knowing and not, waiting on. And that was a tough time for me, honestly. Just waiting on people, working out for different teams and such like that. It's like a combine all over again, talking to people and them turning you down and flying here and doing this. So it was rough, honestly, man. It was like having a feeling of not being like good enough or something like that, which was. And I'm real cocky, man. Like that took something out of me.
Well, especially a year and a half prior, you're one of the team leaders in interceptions, and like you said, I mean, not for long. How quickly things can just go sour, go the wrong way.
Yeah, and you seen it even when I was playing. It was like me and Cory Graham used to play nickel, and I remember him going up to the office and saying, "Man, coach, man, I'm better than DJ." He's like, "No, you're not." Like he left, he playing good, got paid. Like it's all like, and I love Cory Graham, but he ain't no me. You know what I mean? But it just is what it is. Even with Alshon, I thought was the worst receiver that I ever played against. But either he improved or did something. You know what I mean? So it's just your situation and taking advantage of your opportunity. If you take advantage of it and all of the ducks fall in the row, or even when I was in Carolina with Norman, I mean, he was struggling, and I told him, like, just play good during your contract, yeah, and you'll make it happen. And all of a sudden, you got $75 million, and like, okay, we was right there beside each other. It's just, and a lot of people in the NFL are really good. Like some of the best players that I've ever seen have been on practice squad. And you be thinking like, man, like, what are you doing? Like, to not be on the team, it's just, man, your ducks are falling in the wrong row for you, at the wrong time.
Is there one or two players specifically that jumps out at you when thinking of some of the practice squad players you played with?
Joe Anderson was really good. He played in Chicago, and I think he do a lot of like workout and motivational stuff now. He was one who had to sign out with the Texans.
The wide receiver, yeah. Special team standout, yeah.
He was, and I think he probably had the heart. He should have played some defense. It was another cat. I forgot I don't even know what his name was. He was a receiver that was really good. And we had some young guys that didn't make the team. You just be like, but you got 90 people and you can only keep like it's tough. It's real tough, man. And even in like when I was talking about when I know I got released and I worked out for the Saints, we had me, I think it was Myron Lewis, another veteran cornerback, and like a young guy. Like he was awful. But for some reason he got picked up, and it was just because my thing was like, if anybody else get picked up, I'm good with it, as long as it ain't this cat. You know what I mean? But then again, he's younger, less money, or whatever the case may be. So it was it's interesting, man. You'll see a guy like Thielen who go from a tryout to making a lot of money. Like it's a lot of guys that can play. It's just like who got to see you. That's why it's so important sometimes. Like, what school do you go to? You know what I mean? Like if you go to a small, you're like, oh, they always find talent. Like, no, they miss it a lot. I mean, a lot. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, man. I can go on and on, but I won't. But it's interesting. But it's a lot of guys who can play and who can contribute. That's why you see when guys get hurt, guys normally don't get their job back because there's so many people who can, you know what I mean, who can do the job.
Yeah, and we've seen that here in Chicago when Cutler went down. Josh McCown balled out, but you know how Cutler has his ways here in Chicago. Still got his job back. But one last thing before we move on, DJ. You mentioned earlier how you and Lovie Smith had this really close relationship, or how you kind of looked at him as like a father figure. And how he told you when he released you, hey, I really think you'll be a really good coach. Obviously, you're coaching some sports now at the high school level, girls basketball. Would that be something that you might mess around with and try out? Maybe coaching football, or obviously he's coaching over at the University of Illinois now, struggling a little bit there too in Champaign, Illinois. I'm sure he could have some. Call you for some help on his defensive backs, but would you ever cross that avenue?
Well, I just don't know. Well, really, I got I have 4 kids. 6. One, my boy about to turn 5 tomorrow. I got a 2-year-old and about to be 9-month-old. So I'm just trying to be around here for them. My wife is a pharmacist. She work and make all the money, so I get to do videos with you all the time. But I would never say
The
never.
check's in the mail, DJ.
It's a lot of time. I think even because I coached high school last year and then a couple years before that, but man, we would be practice all week, meetings after the games on Friday nights. Man, you might get home about 1 or 2 because they want to sit and talk. You'll watch film. And high school kids, I was coaching receivers. Man, we had about 3 of them, 90 plays. You had to grade every play. They want comments on them. Then we got to meet on Sunday for about 3-4 hours. Then go back to practice Monday. Like it's a grind, and that's just high school. And down here in Spartanburg County, it's a big. Cause I don't know down there it's more probably basketball, but down here, man, in our county, man, they probably averaging 100K coaching football. You know what I mean? So it's like we take it serious. So I think in college, it's more so what he's gonna struggle with is it's recruiting. Like why would I come to Illinois? Can I be Vontae Davis or something? Can I go to the league or something like that? That's why when you win, like the way Clemson is from where I'm at now, is winning so much. It's like, well, wait, what? I can get you to the league. You want to go to the league? I can get you there. Nick Saban can say that. You know what I mean? If you want to go to Ohio State, people can say that. Like at Illinois, you can't just say, "Hey, I'm gonna get you to the." And I can say, "Hey, man, you get a good education, blah blah blah." But it's just you got to be able to recruit, and part of being able to recruit, you got to be people want to go, where they can win national championships, and they'll go 5-star after 5-star after 5-star to back up another 5-star cat because they know the next year when I play, I'm gonna get drafted. So it's just hard. You just got to find the right pieces, and the Illinois,
it's been a while. It's been a while.
That's tough. That's tough.
It is. It is. So again, if you guys want to check out any of the stories that DJ Moore has been posting, that he's been writing, that's prostylepodcast.com. It's Earl Bennett's website, former Bear himself. DJ, we are 10 days away from the start of Chicago Bears training camp down in Bourbonnais. We are 50 days away from the season opener. It's officially football season. I mean, today the Denver Broncos reported at training camp. So, I mean, that dead period is pretty close to being over. I'm curious for you, DJ, this time of the year, I mean, were you kind of dreading having to report to training camp, or were you always excited to get the season started and see how that next season would go for you?
Well, the first year was different. The first year was kind of scared a little bit because you just didn't know. Because everybody would always tell you training camp is so hard. Training camp is so hard. Oh, don't worry about this. Training camp is so hard. And it's all you hear in your head is training camp is so hard. And after a while, you hear so much, it's kind of like, okay. It kind of scares you a little because you don't know what to expect. Oh, you have 2 days, you have this. And then when you get there, it's like, oh, well, cats ain't really tackling because people want to get paid. They don't want to get hurt. My first year, the hardest thing for me was we would have 12 plays on defense. The starters would have 4. The backup would have 4. The starters would come back in for 2, and they would give you 2. And if they didn't want you to have 2, you didn't have 2. So I would go through practice. I think I went through a couple of practices where I might have had 2 plays. Mess up one of those, and you are awful. And you probably going to mess up both of them because you haven't been in and in the situation out there. And whenever you do get in, it's like, oh, them the young boy, let them scrimmage or something like that. No. So it was hard because you would go to film and you tired and you just like, you watching other people. Like you want to see yourself. And they might not even get to your plays. Like they just skip over. Oh, dear, you trash. Bye. Boom. Skip over that. Oh, my God. Okay. Not knowing, being a rookie, you got to sing. You never know when you got to sing. They do random, like, sing call. You got to come up, be like, hey, I'm a rookie. Somebody will yell, block something to you. And you'll tell them what your salary and signing bonus was, and they'll say something. Then you'll have to sing a song or whatever. You know what I mean? So you sing the song, they'll boo you, or they'll join in if you pick the right song. Or if you can sing, then you can sing. You'll carry pads off the field, like your pad, the veteran shoulder pads and helmets off the field, which is fine. They may prank you if you too much of a butthole. They might get you something. And probably the worst thing was, and I call it walking the plank. But so at Bourbon A, we had all the rookies. You had, I think it was on the fourth level. And it with no elevators. You talking about like tired, and then at the end of every night, you go from 7 to 10 every day for 15 days straight, and every night you gotta walk up like 4 flights, which is really like 8 because you gotta go here and then here, like a zigzag. Oh man, it was I guess it was fun coming down, I guess. I mean, but you had to carry all your stuff up there. You didn't know what to take. You know, the veterans there have video games and, you know what I mean, like lounge chairs. And even like going to practice, you get everything secondary. It's like, the trainer, you go with the trainers that's about to be trainers. Like, let them take your ankle and cut your circulation off. So it was knowing how many autographs are signed because you got to get back in to eat and everything. I mean, and being used to people being upset with you when you don't sign them, like kids being really rude. Like, oh my word, like, are those your parents? You gotta talk to them because you can't say that to me. I don't think.
I'm sure the parents are probably echoing what the kids are saying.
Oh yeah, you gotta hold your lip a little bit, like learn how to do that. This whole time you got to do interviews. Sometimes you have like autograph stuff. And then you have family come up, and in between that, you got to find time to eat and make sure they okay. So that first year was a lot of adjusting. But after that, I was excited. Like you'll be happy to come back because you see everybody. So you have off-season stuff. You take a break for about a month and a half, and then you come back, and you just excited to see cats. Excited to do one-on-ones against Earl and Hess and all them cats because you just kind of used to them, new people. And just trying to, make your, stake your claim, doing camp. Things always get heated. You always get into it with the receivers, even though they're the people you hang out with the most. So it's at the beginning, it's kind of stressful because you don't know what to expect. And I can't say it from another person's perspective because sometimes when you get there and weigh in, some people just got sent home. You know what I mean? So I wasn't expecting to be ever sent home. So I didn't have to feel like the pressure of, hey, I feel like somebody's over my shoulder all the time, like ready to send me home. So I'm sure it's a lot of different people that, don't, feel a little bit different about because you have rookies just like, man, what you think? I'm like, man, we got Lance, um, we got Nick Rose, we got Urlacher. Like, I don't know how many more linebackers. We got Pizza, we got. I don't know how many more linebackers they gonna kill. No, man. You know what I mean? Just keep working hard. You know what I mean? You know, you want to say like, shit, you right. Like, you right. Like this could be, yeah. You know what I mean? So I used to tell people, if you hurt, man, don't go out there. Because if you get hurt and they got to send you home, they'll settle with you. They'll give you something. If you get hurt, you walk out there and you practice, they're going to send you home. Like, oh, he practices that. But then again, it's hard, though, because you want opportunity. It's like, hey, if I'm hurt, then I can't play. Like older guys, too, if you hurt, like, what's your, nah, I'm good. That cat good behind me. You ain't getting in this game. Not today. But it's an exciting time, and the fans and stuff, and especially the first couple of days, everybody excited, everybody out. And we're in Chicago, it was always full of people taking their vacations, which is to me nuts around training camp because there's nothing down there, nothing.
Beautiful Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Yeah, man.
So 10 days away from the start of Bears training camp, 50 days away from the season opener. Packers are coming to town to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. Can't kick off the Bears' 100th season any better than that. I mean, it's probably the greatest rivalry in the NFL. Again, probably a little bias on my end, being in Chicago. But how about you, DJ? I mean, just being a part of that rivalry, I mean, every time you suited up against the Packers, did it kind of feel like something special?
Yeah, and for me, it was just playing against Aaron Rodgers. I think it's like playing if you were playing, I guess, back in the '90s, you know, like playing against Jordan or something. Like it says something. Well, Tom Brady, I love playing against the best players. So to like suit up against, and we didn't win a lot. I think we may have won once, and we didn't. I think might have been like 8-1. I mean, which was the game was always close, always competitive. But I think for our defense and to play against somebody like that, and especially for me, you know what's special? I mean, he used to call me by name, and I didn't. Even when somebody call you by name, hey, what's up, DJ? Like, we don't talk to each other, but hey, man, hey, and it was a real cool cat, man. Like, and it wasn't what used to. You know, we had Cutler, so he wasn't like real personable with people. Like to see him, like, oh, what's up? Like, oh, hey, man, what's up? You know what I mean? So it was cool to kind of see that, and he would wink at you or smile as you doing plays, like he knew what you was doing. Like he was a real confident cat, man. So I just appreciated playing against him. Now the rivalry, I think everybody on the field kind of got along. Honestly, you wanted to win, but the fans and both fans, and I think our fans are a little bit different, but passionate the same way. Because Green Bay fans are really nice people, man. They really were. So it was real cool, man. It was a real cool experience to see how, you know, excited the fans get and how full the hotel will be once it's, you know, the Green Bay game is coming up. So it is a special ride. I think it's more of a rivalry just because I think now it's leaning more Chicago's way because for a while it's been
Lopsided. Not
yeah,
not not in Chicago's way either.
huh?
It's been very lopsided and not in Chicago's favor either.
Yeah. So this year I think they'll renew it because I think the last couple of years you had well when Kaepernick was the 49ers, you had the Seahawks 49ers. Then you had I think the Ravens and the Steelers kind of heated up a lot. So you have like teams just for a couple of years just kind of hit it hard at each other. But I think consistently over time, I think Chicago and Green Bay's has been, you know, what I mean, probably I think the best rivalry in sports.
Yeah, and it's again 50 days away from the season opener. Earlier this week, DJ, Madden Rankings came out for the new Madden video game, and you know the Bears official website shared a video of Chase Daniel breaking the news to Akeem Hicks, Eddie Jackson, Tariq Cohen, and long snapper Patrick Scales of their ratings and you know how fast they were, their strength, and it was pretty funny to get their reaction. And I'll actually throw the rankings up of both the offense and the defense right now. There it is, and again, so just looking at some I guess, important players. Mitchell Trubisky rated a 75 overall on the offense side of the ball. Tariq Cohen, 85. He wasn't too happy about that. Allen Robinson, 86. Looking on the defense, you have Khalil Mack, one of just 4 players in the new Madden 20 video game that got that 99 rating. You got Roquan, 81. Let's see, Eddie Goldman, 85, and Akeem Hicks, 87. Kyle Fuller, an 89 at cornerback. Eddie Jackson, 91. It's always pretty funny to watch these guys' reactions on what their rankings are, because every player thinks they should be better than what they really are. I think these are pretty fair. A lot of people are upset about Trubisky's rating at 75.
The reason that I would be upset about Trubisky's rating is because Baker Mayfield is an 83. Your first year playing, now I know you won 5 out of 7, but it seems more somebody was biased in the choosing of it. If he's 75 and Baker Mayfield is like 75, which I feel like Baker Mayfield should be low, even though I do not like Trubisky. But he should be higher than Baker Mayfield.
You think so? I actually disagree.
But it's a rookie that threw a couple of passes, right? And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you the greatest thing ever.
In Cleveland, though.
Now listen, this is my second year, right? We get to the playoffs, we 12-4. No matter if we play defense or did this or did that, like you're the quarterback on that team, they could at least give you an 80. But to give a cat coming off his rookie year, oh, you're an 83. This is the thing about Baker Mayfield. Think about this. He's above Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Carson Wentz, and Derek Carr. It was more cats. I just named them. Like, that makes no sense to me. Now, I know Derek Carr struggled, but his stats was better than Trubisky's stats, and Trubisky went to the Pro Bowl. Prescott? No. So I don't know what it is, but they love Baker Mayfield. Now, another cat I had a problem with. Nuke Hopkins.
Yeah, that threw me off a little bit.
He had a 99, right?
Yeah, 104 total.
Which is not his speed. He's a real physical guy, not fat. If you're the best receiver in football, when did it happen, though? He's better than Julio Jones? No. Odell Beckham Jr., what did you give him? You gave him a 96 or something because he went to the Browns? Like, are we doing just this is your talent, not like your team's overall, like yours? Antonio Brown, you hiding Antonio Brown. Listen, I know people don't like. You know what? I got one more for you. Now, you give this to me. Tariq Hill. How? You explain to me how he's a 94. In anybody, his speed is a 99. His agility is like a 98. His acceleration is a 98. Everything that you need to be a receiver, he has it, but he a 94. You explain this one to me, because I'm lost.
I wish I could. I mean, he's been one of the most electrifying players in the NFL since he's arrived. And obviously, when you got Patrick Mahomes throwing bombs to you left or right, I mean, that'll obviously always make you look better. Again, he has the speed to get past.
Now, I got an explanation for it. This is what happened, okay? You beat your kid, you lose 5 points. This is exactly what this is. This is a thing like, oh, now you're a good player, but you got in trouble. So I'm gonna just dock you 5 points. Don't put him on the game then, I guess. Because it just doesn't make any sense. If you've ever watched him play, he's amazing, man. When he's the only player, like when you see people, and I play with Hester, and Hester can run. But Hester don't look like this cat. Like, he looks like he's running fast. And when somebody look like they're running fast, that means you're running really fast. He's in fast forward, and he's always open. He's always making plays. And he does everything from kickoff return to receive. Like, there's no way that he's not. If he's not one of, he got not one of the best receivers. He got if somebody's a 99, knew how he's not. Listen, if I had a team, you know what? If you had a team, which receiver would you want? Would you want Hill or you want Hopkins?
I'll tell you what, I'd have to think about it. I probably would go with Hill. I'd have to think about it. I was always in the favor that
But
I always thought Hopkins was always underrated until these rankings came out. I think this Madden video game, the creators of this video game, I think they're the only people that have ever overrated Hopkins.
last year he played a little bit, but and I think people started to talk about him last year being one of the better receivers. But no, man, no. Like when you can run and you can catch and you can juke people and you can do kickoff return every time you touch it, you do this number right here as you run it. No, no, no.
Hey,
But
man.
when I played, my rank was always kind of low. Now, what I did look at was my agility was good. My hands was like an 80 for a defensive player, which was phenomenal, which was probably a little bit low. Probably should have been a 95, 96, 97. Just being honest. My acceleration was good. Speed was like an 88, 89. I wasn't fast, so I felt like that may have been too fast. Whatever. My awareness was really good, which I said, you know what? That's me. I said, if you put me in the game, I just tell people, you on the game? I say, yeah. But if you put me in, you can throw me a safety, put me down there, but you got to put me in the zone. My awareness is good. Speed is not. If they go deep, it's the same way in real life. If they keep running, eventually they'll outrun. You know what I mean? So, I think a lot of players used to boot, and I never played with myself. I couldn't, like, in my heart, I couldn't do that. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
would you bench yourself? Would you put Cory Graham over yourself?
wouldn't play. I wouldn't play
Oh, okay.
couldn't play with myself. I just couldn't. Like it's like me reading newspaper or something or this. Like if I do this show, I can do it, but I can't go back and watch it. Like it made me feel weird. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Would there be a bad juju type of thing though? Would you be like, I don't want to play as the Bears because if number 30 goes down with an injury and next week we play the Vikings?
Well, no, on the video. Well, a lot of times on the video game, they rank you based on kind of how your team did. I feel like because I think it's a number system where if most of my players are good, that means that my rating will be like a 90, 95. Like you got to make him good. Oh, Gilmore from the Patriots, he played really good in the playoffs. They had like a 95. Like no, like he played really good in the playoffs though. But 95, mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. But it's like when you play, when you perform and stuff like that. So but I think in real life, it doesn't take into account like, because Madden can't take it. Like when you're fast on the game, like when they had Hess, I think he was at only person with 100 speed.
Right.
Oh, you put him at receiver? Oh my. Yeah, he was running past people. But in real life, you can't put like the instincts and stuff in the game. So I think people like, you're going to be upset because you're going to have, especially a lot of them football players, you're going to be upset about, your ego going to be a little hurt or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, you got to go out here and play for real.
Based off this conversation, DJ, this seemed to be a yearly topic in the locker room. Was this something that got brought up and people talked about and bragged about? Like, if someone was rated higher than the other?
Well, no, man. Anything about beating somebody in FIFA, they said we have FIFA tournaments all the time. That's all cats did, play FIFA. Where you at? Camp, playing FIFA. Online, playing FIFA. Online, playing this person. In the locker room, in the little game room, playing somebody. So you never really even, talked about it. Now, they would have it where they come out. The reporters would say something. You would have to ask questions about it. And, that's how it kind of get brought up a lot. But in the locker room, man, the cats ain't gonna come, hey, man, you got your Madden ratings go? Unless at least it didn't happen to me. You know what I mean? You got your rating? I got mine. Like, nah, it didn't happen like that.
So that's the Madden rankings. I'll throw the rankings up one more time. Some key rankings there. Trubisky 75 overall, Cohen 85, Allen Robinson 86, Trey Burton overrated. I think it's safe to say 87. He'll have to have a big year this year for the Bears.
He was doing something. He said, "Nah, we know the defense." Got him.
99 for Mr. Khalil Mack, 80 for Danny Trevathan, Akeem Hicks 87, 85 for Eddie Goldman, and 91 for Eddie Jackson. Staying with the trendy topics, DJ. I'm not sure. I know you don't really get on social media too much anymore nowadays. You do when you can, but you don't make it a point. But yesterday, something that was making the rounds were these face app type of thing. So you got some players here looking a little older than usual. You got Cordell Patterson on the top left, Tariq Cohen on the top right, and on the bottom you got Mitchell Trubisky and Roquan Smith. DJ, I seen these and right away. I mean, I just had to do it. So let's just say the year's 2051, and
you gotta send that to me, cuz I
all right, so I had to do that. I mean, it's been making the rounds all day today, all day yesterday, and
it's text me that. That is awesome. I looked at it and thought about doing it, but that is fun. That's cool.
I thought I'd do it for you. So I figured let's take a peek to the future and 2051. I think looking pretty good. Not too shabby. You're gonna bring back the old haircut. I like it.
Man, I'm trying. Hey, those are amazing though. They look. To be honest with you, I think if people kind of stay in shape and eat right, I think it'll probably be what you probably would look like. It just, you know what I mean? So it would be funny just to keep those, and then once you get older to compare, the two. That would be something. You know what I mean? Just like, oh man,
Right.
these apples really good. Now if I look much different, because I mean it's different. White and black people age a little better than white people. No, but this is life. It's just the way it is. I mean, so I don't know. Everybody look cool though when they get older. So it's something.
Yeah. All right. So getting back on track. So again, that's just some things that's been trending the last couple of days. You have that face app type of situation. You got the Madden rankings coming out. We'll go ahead and move on to our next topic, DJ. Again, Bears fans. I mean, just 10 days from now, Bears report to Bourbonnais, and 50 days. You got Packers at Bears. An under-the-radar player you think that could have a big impact on the team this year, or an impact in general? I mean, it seems like all the starting spots are kind of already penciled in, pretty similar to last year, with the exception of Clinton Dix playing opposite side of Eddie Jackson, taking over for Adrian Amos. Besides that, I mean, you're kind of returning all the same starters. Tariq Cohen should have a bigger role in this offense. They drafted David Montgomery. I'll go first. I think a guy that can make the team, like I said, I think Trey Burton was a little overrated in that Madden ranking, and I'm not going to base this just off of a Madden ranking, but I don't think he really had the impact that many people expected him to have last year in this offense. I'm not saying that can't change, and if he can stay healthy and be on the field, maybe that does change. But I'm going to look for another tight end to step up. Whether that's Adam Shaheen or not, I don't know. But I'm really high on the undrafted kid, Dax Raymond out of Utah State. I mean, I think he has a very similar skill set to Trey Burton, where you can line him up at fullback, you could line him up at tight end, you could even split him out wide if need be. A great athlete as well at tight end, and again, many had him pegged to be drafted. I had a 5th-round grade on him. He went undrafted because he's a little older, but or that's one of the reasons why they say. So I'm going to go with kind of an out-of-the-box player, and that would be an undrafted rookie as a player that could hear his name called at some point this season, and Dax Raymond, the tight end out of Utah State. Where are you going with this?
Well, before I do that, just to kind of counter your argument, the only reason I wouldn't say him is because Trey Burton is going into his 2nd year? in offense.
Right.
So he's going to be a little more familiar with it. So when it's your first year, you just a little less familiar. So if it's my second year, it's a quarterback second year, it's a coach's second year calling the plays, and he knows how to, you know what I mean, he wants it or whatever, and, you know, Burton understands. So I think it'll be hard. Now, it's not impossible, you know, but I think it'll be, to me, it'll be hard for the young tight end to get into a role of, hey, man, like, I trust you. I mean, we got to get in the club dub, and your ID, you ain't of age yet. You know what I mean?
They do say tight end is one of the tougher positions for a rookie to come in and excel at right away. And you see it even with first round picks like O.J. Howard. He's kind of struggled up to this point, maybe a big year 3, just to throw a name out there. But they do say tight end is a tough position to kind of, get started in.
How they use you. You know what I mean? A lot of tight ends want to catch passes. So if you use them like Travis Kelce, then they're going to thrive. Now, Gronk is one of those guys where you can put him in line. He can block defense ends, linebackers, and then he can go catch passes. But most of the time, tight ends are either or. You either really just a glorified tackle or you a pass catcher. And a lot of times when you're a rookie and you're not the guy, they're going to make you do stuff you don't want to do. I.e., when I was there with Greg Olsen, he wasn't a young guy, but he was a pass catching tight end. They wanted him to block and do weird stuff like that. Why? He can run. He can catch. Let him catch passes. So in Carolina, he don't block often. What is he doing? He's catching passes. So when you're young, they don't, and that's really the difference between the older and young is the older guys, you get to do stuff that you used to doing. You used to being successful at. It's like if you had Ray Lewis, you ain't going to make him go out there and go out the slot. He can't do that. But he can go down here and tackle and get up and do his dance. So for me, I got 2 guys. And it's kind of dependent, I think to me it's dependent on the other guy. But the first guy I got is Leonard Floyd. Now he's 6'6". He run a 4.6. Him and Khalil Mack is the same. Well, I think his 40 time was a little bit faster. He's really just a receiver is all he is because he's really lanky and small. But when you especially, it's kind of like the freak was with the Titans, Kears, like just pass rushing. When you got that speed and you got a guy on the other side of you that is that dominant, it has to benefit you. I think he is. Let me see if I wrote it down right. I know his numbers have went down. I think he started it was 7 sacks and then 3, then 3. To me, the thing that makes him really good this year is last year Khalil Mack really didn't come until the first game of the year. This year you get the off season with him. Then you get to go to camp with him. And if he's anything like Erlach or Lance or Tillman or any of those all-star guys were, they practice really hard. So you impressed by how hard you practice. And now I tattoo myself to you. Hey, you real ripped up. I want to lift a little bit. I want to eat like you eat. I want to learn the pass rushing moves you learn. I want to soak up everything. And I feel like this is a year for him to soak up everything. And also, this is his 4th year, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Guess what?
It's his 4th year. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they did pick up his 5th-year option as well.
Yeah, but see, I wouldn't have. But then again, he has promise. So still, even if there's a 5th-year option, if you do really good this year, you're a defensive end. You can go to the table, man.
Right. And, before you get to the second player you had, just on Leonard Floyd really quickly, he's kind of been this guy that it seems like ever since he came to Chicago, people are just kind of waiting for him to reach his potential. I mean, this is a guy that, when talking pass rushers, yeah, he's undersized, but he has all the physical traits that you kind of look for, and that's why he's playing the position, obviously, and that's why he was drafted 10th overall a few years back by Ryan Pace. But, injuries, I mean, that's number one. You just got to stay healthy, and a lot of that could be bad luck. A lot of that could be conditioning. A lot of that could be the way you take care of your body. Again, a lot of it could be bad luck, and it seems like the way his injuries have kind of worked out, it has been bad luck, but as you know, DJ, availability is the best ability. So as long as we could get a 16-game season out of Leonard Floyd, I think that's most important because we seen last year struggled early on, and that's because he had the club on his hand. He broke his hand second game of preseason, but once he got that club off and kind of got used to actually using that hand, the last 4 or 5 games, he really started to put a very nice product on the field and got after the quarterback.
The thing is, you got Hicks up the middle, right? You got Matt. He can pick whatever side he wants. If he tell you he want this side or the other side, it don't matter because you're not running up the middle on 96. You're not running to mag attack side. So all I got to do is rush on my line. Don't get too far to the field, and the quarterback will fall into my 6'6" long arms. All you got to do is extend your arm out, keep the guy from you, and if you play 16 games, you get 12 sacks just for being on the other side. Now, he may have pass rushing moves and all the other things, but all he got to do is just be long and fast like he is, and he'll make it happen. Now, on defense, I think they can move him around, like when Khalil Mack is moving around maybe, you know what I mean, so people don't double him or chip him or something like that, so you can be a little more creative. I don't know, Pagano going to do something like that, or, if Mack is, because he's comfortable with his hand up, so he can rush him anyway. Mack is a real strong cat. Like, he just, no matter if they 300-400 pounds, it seems like he just knock them down, a lot. So I think if he progresses, then the whole defense gets good. And the reason I'm picking the other guys because this is his first year. Buster Shrine. I'm a nickel. I had to pick a nickel. This is what it is. Over his career, he's had, I think, 9 interceptions. Last year, he had 0. Now, he plays a lot of man-to-man coverage, which is really good. Pagano is not going to play man all the time. Now, there's going to be situations, but I'm going to pick him. I'm going to say he'll make 3 or 4 interceptions just because he's going to do something different than he's done before, whereas it's not just always a lot of man. I'm gonna be able to read the quarterback, route read and things like that. But along with, if Leonard comes along, then you won't have time, like, to do anything. Like, you just hike, you either throw it or you get sacked. And I was a beneficiary of having Peppers and having Alex Smith and having Walier, Adonijay, also Anthony Adams, all them cats, Lance, and all them when they rush. I was beneficial because Coach said if they look, he can't look back. Is on the D line. They get paid all the money. So hey, listen, I appreciate what you're doing down there, making me look good. And this is what they did last year. That's why even Fuller had. We'll talk about it later, but even Fuller had, the 7 and 7 because he was struggling. But we'll talk about it. He was struggling.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you probably easily could have had 10 interceptions, and I think he had 2, 3 interceptions. I mean, I'm hoping he's every night. I hope he has a date with the jugs machine because some of them, I hate to say it, DJ. What's that?
Fast young man, because he made the Pro Bowl. Now, the years prior to that, he had like 2 and 2. Now, his rookie year, he kind of had the interceptions. I think he had 4, and he got his little peanut punch on and things like that. But before this last year, he was looking sketchy. But he's figuring it out again.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, a great year, no doubt about it. I'm gonna get the official number right here, but I want to say it seemed like every game he could have walked away with at least 1. Yeah, he did have 7 last year. Why do I not remember that? That's not good. Maybe it was the year prior that I'm thinking of where he could have walked away with a bunch more than he actually had. But yeah, I mean, last year, a Pro Bowl year for him, playing opposite side of Prince Amukamara, who also had a pretty nice year as well. And like you said, and then bringing in a Buster Screen to replace Bryce Callahan, who played the nickel position very well in Chicago. You draft a rookie as well at that same position. Now looking at the secondary, or while we're looking at the secondary, DJ, we touched on it last week, but Adrian Amos, he's now with the Green Bay Packers. They bring in Clinton Dix. We know how great Eddie Jackson is and how great Eddie Jackson will continue to be despite whoever it is playing opposite side of him, especially when you play with such talented players in front of you on the D line in the linebacking corps. But Clinton Dix, I mean, it seems like a lot of people really think that he could possibly be a better scheme fit in this Pagano defense than Amos would have been. He'll take more chances. He's had a plethora more takeaways throughout his career than Amos has. It seemed like Amos kind of didn't like to take risks and go after the ball. He'll allow the receiver to catch it, but he'll lay a hit stick on you. But I want your take. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I do think that Clinton Dix can be a better fit, and he's never been in a defense with as many stars and playmakers that the Bears have currently. So obviously that'll only do him good, as he's on a 1-year deal, looking to cash out next offseason with a big deal. But Clinton Dix, I mean, how does he fit in this Bears defense playing opposite side of Eddie Jackson, and how much, if at all, of a drop-off should we expect from that position?
I don't think you're going to get a drop-off. I've read somewhere, it was like one of the Bears higher-ups was talking about, they was happy to have Clinton Dix instead of Amos, because they had him graded higher anyway. So they played him twice a year. And when I was just thinking about it and looking it up, and really, it just boiled down to the numbers. Amos does the right thing. You know what I mean? He gets the defense lined up. If you need to tackle, he tackles you, but he doesn't make plays. And what football is about, making plays. So over his career, he has 3 interceptions, I think. So I think his first year had 0, second year had 0, then he had 1, then he had 2. All right. So he had 1, 2, 5, then a season with 3, another season with 3. And these are just interceptions. All right. Now, Clinton Dix, even last year, he's going to average between 80 and 100 tackles. Now, is that because the Green Bay defense is really bad and they getting back to him? To me, it says that if I get 80 to 100 tackles and I'm making 3 to 5 interceptions, like, I just know where to find the ball at. Amos is going to make 60, 75, and this is just his average, in that range. So I'm going to go from one guy who makes 60 to 75 tackles and go get 1 interception to another guy who's going to make 80 to 100 and get 4. Now, this is not including 4 fumbles or anything like that. So he's more of he's a ball hawking safety. So he's a second Eddie Jackson, essentially. Like, I got 2 guys who like to go get the ball. Coach Gilbert, when I was in Chicago, I always say, the ball is worth millions of dollars. I mean, it truly is. And if you can get the ball, it's a jackpot. 11 guys on defense, 11 on offense. It's only 1 ball at all times. So if you can get a guy who's out there to go and is out there to get the ball to make sure they get turned. I think the Bears were number 3 in defense last year. Man, you maybe can take that to 1 because there's more plays to be made. I'm sure Amos could have made plays. And I didn't watch him a lot, and I played with a couple guys. You either want the ball or you want the guy. And Amos, I think, is one of those guys, I want to tackle the guy. Like, I want to put fear in him. Like, no, I want you to catch the ball. I don't want it flying past your head and you trying to go and decleat somebody. Like, I need you to make the turnover. I think Pagano's defense, and if he does it like he did in
Baltimore,
Colts, it was a lot of 2 high safeties. So now you got 2 high safeties that can kind of roam around. You can spin them and roll them where you don't know who's down, who's back, because both of them can read defenses really well. Now, it goes back to Leonard. It goes back to Hicks and Mack and all those defensive linemen, where the reason that Eddie Jackson is so good, because, like, if I read it, I go, why? Because they're going to get sacked. So understand the defense. Understand what you have. They traded for him. Great. Because if they don't get Khalil Mack, then now you don't have the same Eddie Jackson. You don't have the same Fuller. But guess what? We got him on this is his 2nd year, and we got other guys ready and primed and ready, and everybody energetic, want the club dub and all that stuff. And you building off a good season of playing defense, which in Chicago, which is It's always been the thing. You know what I mean? Playing good defense. So I think the sky's the limit. But then again, you got to see how people mesh and how they adjust. Now, I don't know why he got traded from Green Bay. I don't know why they let him go with the Redskins. Because I think even when he got there with the 9 games, he had to leave like 67 tackles.
Washington actually offered him a bigger deal than Chicago did, but I think the way he looked at it was he says he wanted to be on a better team and he wanted a better opportunity for him to cash out next year.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, honestly. So when he comes in, if he does what he's been doing, hey, so it could be something. You know what I mean? But everything looks good on paper. And until the paper gets shredded, you got to go on the field, and then, oh boy, So it'll for sure be interesting, but it'll all be new for everybody because the defense is new too.
Right.
You're getting used to the play call, and that'll be a thing. If the defense is not as good, then the fans will boo you, and the papers will be writing about Vangio, and the differences and what's wrong with the defense, and if the offense ain't kind of keeping that up. You know what I mean? Keeping up the slack of what the defense is doing, like the defense did last year for the offense. It can get ugly, man.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the case, I'm not sure Nagy's throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley Field like he did today.
Oh man, I watched that. He threw a good pitch too.
Oh yeah. He threw one out at the Sox game a couple weeks back as well, and they said he threw a 90-mile-per-hour. I don't know if they inflated that number or not, but like you said, I mean, it was a good, impressive pitch.
Well, he's a quarterback,
right.
Which probably was a pitcher too. So I mean, he's done this. You know what I mean? But if you throwing at 90 or even trying, because if I ever got on the mound, like I'm gonna try to throw it as hard as I can.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna float this thing. Like you need to read. You got to read minds.
Sticking with the defense side of the football, DJ, Roquan Smith. You brought up earlier, Khalil Mack. He arrived to Chicago, 6 days before the season opener. Well, Roquan it did just about damn near the same thing. I mean, he missed all of training camp, and he comes into the season. He played every game of the season. Didn't play much, though, week 1. Had a little bit of a bigger role week 2, but finally began starting week 3. Finished the season with 121 tackles, 5 sacks, and an interception. Pretty impressive. I mean, I think that's just, you can't really ask much more for your rookie middle linebacker that you drafted 8th overall, especially seeing as he missed all of preseason, all of training camp. Now he gets that under his belt this time around, as Bears report training camp 10 days from now. How much of an improvement, how much of a jump should we expect from Roquan in year 2? I mean, expectations are big. I mean, like you said, DJ, this is a defensive city, for a city known for defensive football. But even more than that, the Bears organization is known for that linebacker position, whether you go back to Dick Butkus, Doug Buffone, or even nowadays Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, go to the 85 Bears, Mike Singletary, Wilbur Marshall. I mean, that position means a lot to this organization. They drafted this kid in the first round, top 10. And again, I mean, rookie year, I mean, very hard to say any bad things about his style of play. How big of a jump should we expect in 2019?
I think he's going to be really good. I don't know about like a jump. It's just, it's hard to put it in words. Like, he was really good. Like, he's 6'1", 236, won a 4.52. He's a bull, and everything is red. Like, everything. It's not like when they wave it and they move it, like, you can't move. Like, he for real. Coming out, he was for real. Playing this year, and probably the only reason he didn't start is because, he probably didn't have, time. He had to learn the defense and everything. Now, when you said he had 121 tackles, right? 5 sacks and 1 interception. Now, Urlacher, and I had to look it up. No, man, let me compare, because I play with Urlacher and compare. Now, Urlacher's first year was better, which is still But it's the same, really. Urlacher had 125 tackles, 8 sacks, 2 interceptions. They run like the same 40. Urlacher's a little bigger, kind of 6'4" for that cover two. That cover two system is he a little better for that, but he didn't play until the third game. So essentially, you got Hall of Fame numbers right out of the gate. So to say that you're going to improve upon that is a little bit hard, but then again, I see why not though. I don't see why he wouldn't. Now this year they'll watch film and see what you didn't do right and what you didn't do this and what you don't like to do. But when you're a 6'1", 236-pound bull, they can chase down deer and cheetahs and stuff. Because you got the angle. You got to remember, you on the other side, and I got an angle to get to you. And if you can run a 4.5, you can get anywhere, especially with instincts. You can get there before they will. And you like to hit. What? I guess it's everything. It's everything came together. Peanut butter and jelly, man. It just came together. Khalil Mack came. Then he was already a linebacker. Eddie Jackson them came on. Hicks was probably, to me, I know Khalil Mack was really good, but I thought Hicks was more impressive personally. You got Fuller, for some reason, was catching 2 picks, now he catching 7. Amuka Morris, to me, he don't catch a lot of picks. Lips just ashy a lot. He don't catch a lot of, you know what I mean? But he caught some too. They dancing and, man, having a good time.
Bryce Callahan gets a nice contract from Denver.
Huh?
Bryce Callahan had a few interceptions that allowed him to receive a nice contract from Denver.
In the slide, they know what he was doing. That hurts you got in the playoff game. You didn't have him. I don't know what happened to him. I just knew he wasn't out there. Everything just worked out. And Roquan, to me, may have probably been one of the most important pieces because 121 tackles, 5 sacks. You got to worry about him on every play. I can run sideline to sideline, I'm sure. Urlacher can run a 4.5. I think Luke Key can run like a 4.5. Like, these are numbers that say, hey, man, like, I'm an elite linebacker. We got the same numbers, and I can do the same exact things that you can do, and I'm a bull. He like Luke Keegan, I think a little lighter, too. 6'1", 236, and run like that. Them licks you don't want. So I wouldn't be surprised if he took a step back. I think his tackles may go up. Honestly, I think he just knows the defense and he'll read it. He'll read everything real fast. I think his tackles will be either close to 121 or close to that range. Sacks probably be, I think, about the same just because Floyd and them other guys, I think, will probably get there first. He'll still have at least probably 4 of them. So I think his sack numbers may go down. Now he'll probably have some forced fumbles. I didn't look that up. So I think he'll have, I don't see why not he would have pretty much an equivalent season. But, it's like an Urlacher-ish season, which is your first year, which Urlacher did. It was still hard for him to kind of do that again, which was kind of catapulted him into, I guess, the position he in now, getting the gold jacket and stuff.
And new hair.
And new hair, man. Yeah. Yeah, you got it. That cost money, no? That cost money.
All right, so we're talking about some of the stars on this Bears team. 39 takeaways last year. You can make an argument they were probably the best defense in the NFL. Eddie Jackson, he's been, and I'm sure he's not alone. Maybe this is a conversation that comes up all the time in just about every locker room with defensive players. But Eddie Jackson has been vocal saying that he wants to, he wants to take a step ahead of the 85 Bears. He said that that's the team goal this year for the defense is to have a better year than the 85 Bears.
The problem with that is, I think it may
Can they have a better year than they had last year is my question.
Hey, well, you could do that because if you had a better year than you had last year, you still wouldn't be close to the 85 Bears. Like I had, when I looked it up, like just points. Now the game is a little different. Just points, period. The Bears, I think, allowed 283. The 85 Bears allowed 198. All right. Listen, 198. Now, when you look at and when you they went 15-1, right? 15-1, and let me just read. And it's just so you win the first round game 21-0. The second round game 24-0. You win the Super Bowl. What is this? Is it 46-10?
Yep.
Like in the playoffs, you allow 10 points
in 3 games.
Entire playoffs. There's nothing. Listen, now let me just go. Let me say this again. Let me put it in a different way. Other than saying 10 points, you allow 3 points per game in the playoffs. That is nuts. That's like somebody coming off the bench shooting a 3 or something. Like, oh, this got 3 points. You can't. I don't think with the offense the way it is now, I don't think you can because it was some games they gave up a lot of points. Like
Miami.
But there were some games where now you kept it in. The playoff game was really good. You know what I mean? The Rams game was really, really good because you expect them like the Rams to do this, and this. And you held Aaron Rodgers at bay. You know what I mean? So you played really good, but the 85 Bears is like you can't beat them unless you win the Super Bowl. And not only do you got to win the Super Bowl, you got to go through the playoffs and dominate. Put people in to say, you want to score a touchdown? Do you want to score a touchdown? Like Oprah, she just handing out touchdowns to people. Like that's the only way. And I love like the confidence. But it's probably a lot of Bear defenses that they'll probably have to be better than even before they get to the 85 Bears probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about 85 Bears, it's a way to say we're going to the Super Bowl without you actually saying it and cursing yourself. It's like we're going to do 85 Bears stuff. Like, I know, like Super Bowl shuffle stuff. I mean, it's cool. Like, if somebody win it, they get to do the shuffle again, it'll be the coolest thing ever. The coolest.
And they will. They will remake that if the Bears do it.
Oh, it'll be new school, they'll rap. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. But 85 Bears, there's no... Like, that's nuts. Like, it's just when you look at the numbers, 198 points in a season. So, essentially, 16 games, probably about 12 points a game, 13. Like, every game, nah. You hold Cat in the way that there's so many possessions, you can go fast pace. And yeah, I think it'll be hard. But then again, you'll see. The first game will tell. You want to be 85 bad? Let's see it.
Yeah.
Find Aaron Rodgers. Hey, they can't score with 13 points. If not, you done already failed. You know what I mean?
And I mean, look at the season opener last year. I mean, if that doesn't leave a sour taste in your mouth, I mean, yeah, the Bears were able to see Green Bay once again after that first game meltdown and beat the Packers at home in Chicago, but. Now you're playing the same opponent. The history is there. You're kicking off your 100th year season against this great rival. I mean, if you're not going to be ready for that, I mean, I don't know what else will get you ready. But yeah, like you said, DJ, 85 Bears, that would be great if they could replicate that. But they don't. They wouldn't need to. It's very unlikely that they would. They would be in fantastic shape if they can replicate what they put on the field last year, and even that would be hard enough. I mean, 39 turnovers last year. They're getting after the quarterback. You had guys that didn't even have a training camp preseason, like a Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, guys that had big impacts on that defense. And I mean, yeah, Khalil Mack missed a couple games. Roquan played in all 16, started 14 of them. And one thing also, yeah, again, Khalil Mack did miss a couple games due to injury, but this team wasn't really hit with the injury bug like it has been in years prior. And that's another thing that, I was talking about injuries earlier. Sometimes it's just bad luck, and the Bears were on the opposite side of that bad luck last year. Hopefully they could be on the opposite side of it again this season, but you know, that's just as important as you know, any consistent play out there as well.
Yeah, and for them to be to 85 Bears, they're gonna need Trubisky to be the best he can be. Um, it can't be, oh, we go three and out, or we turn over. I have a bad game against a good defense, and I have a good game against a bad defense. It's just gonna have to be consistent all the way through. Because if you don't win a Super Bowl, that's all you got to do. In Chicago, if you win, you can be like 85 Bears. There's an event every week.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. You must have cut out on me. But yeah, like you said, I mean,
I said 85 Bears. I said, is there an event every week still?
oh,
Because when I
twice a week, twice a week.
twice a
I
week.
mean, you got players still signing autographs. I mean,
Like that's all it is. And you set for life. You can have an event twice a week for the rest of your natural born life.
it's. I mean, they're still making documentaries on the '85 Bears.
Man, listen, you got to do it. You have to do it. So to me, no matter who, Buster Shrine or Leonard Floyd or Khalil Mack, all them cats are great. They're gonna make something happen. But the key is Trubisky. Like, is he the guy that's going to step you forward? Because if not, you just not going. It's just too hard with the way they allowing the receivers to do things, and you only can do this, this, and this. There's no. It's harder to control like the 85 Bears could control everything on defense. Now that it ain't,
It's an
it's harder to.
offensive league now. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a totally different game, and it's driven to the offensive side of the ball. People want to see points scored, um, and the quarterback play, and probably really just the all around offensive weapons. I mean, it's at an all time high in terms of talent overall. I mean, there's a bunch of great quarterbacks in this league, and you got younger guys like Deshaun Watson, Pat Mahomes. You know, really lighting it up from the get go. Hopefully Trubisky could enter that conversation this year. We'll see about that, but yeah, I mean, to end the conversation, DJ, I mean, they don't need to be the '85 Bears. They can be the 2019 Bears as long as they win that Super Bowl, as long as they hoist the Lombardi Trophy. All fans here in Chicago will be happy, and that'll do it for tonight's show, DJ. As always, a great time, and I feel like we got a lot of topics in, and yeah, that's gonna do it. Hope you all enjoyed it. Again, you can follow me on Twitter. We got both our Twitter usernames here on the bottom of the screen. I'm at Chris Shanafelt. He's at DJ Moore 30. To start the show, we talked about the articles that DJ has been writing lately for Earl Bennett's website, Pro Style Podcast. Some very
I think today he put it out, I believe.
yeah. You had one yesterday about signing with an agency.
Oh yeah, it was interesting. So all of them be interesting.
Yeah,
So just,
and he's got you aboard, obviously himself. I think he had Gerard Powers post a story last week.
yeah, I think he's supposed to have Eddie Royal and some other guys that's supposed to do it. So it's stuff I think a lot of people do now. But he's just trying to, give people a platform. But for me, I just write real. The next one gonna be real. So
We'll recap it. That's going to be a thing on the show, DJ. We'll probably at some point every show we're going to recap story time with DJ Moore from the ProStylePodcast.com.
sound good to me. You know what I mean?
Again, very interesting stories, and again, another great show. So thanks for your time as always, DJ. Hope you all enjoyed. Again, I'm at Chris Shanafelt. He's at DJ Moore 30. And until next week, everybody.